am a serial entrepreneur. I've started a number of companies. Some have been very successful. I've also learned great lessons from my failures. So it's good to have failure if you learn from it, obviously. I had an internet company, for example, that I had for 2.5 years, raised about $18 million, and the bubble burst in about 2000, and we couldn't raise any more money, so we had to resolve that company. My background is a combination of, I like to refer to it as sort of I have a Swiss Army knife background. I've been in the medical business, I've been in the retail business, I've been in the automotive business. One of my other entrepreneurial ventures is I bought a transmission shop. I grew it to 5 shops, and then I did a mini roll-up and sold that as one entity. So I like to think I have the scrappy fortitude that's required to be an entrepreneur. I will tell you that the most important thing that has made me successful is that fortitude, but more importantly, the mentorship that I've had along the way. I sometimes get frustrated with the younger folks today who don't seem to rely on mentorship quite as much. And there's some extraordinary people who are part of this organization, like Mike and Lit, and of course Kina, et cetera, who will help guide you in that process. And I encourage you to take every ounce of direction that you can. You don't have to win and lose this on your own. There's great people out there who can help guide you, and that's the whole purpose of what we're doing here at Kaufman, I think, and with Million Cups. Having said that, the last time I stood before you, I was helping an organization called Gradient Industries. Great example of how an entrepreneur can become stubborn and not follow suit and try to win and lose it on his own. So we had an inventor in that organization who had patents associated with his technology, an extraordinary technology, which can be very helpful to the health and well-being of people. And he was unwilling ultimately to release those patents. So now here's a technology and an inventor who sits there with all of nothing instead of some of something because he was unwilling to make that transition. So helping lead companies, which is what I do, I was unable to lead them any further. So I was looking at what I was going to do next because I like doing things like this, and started looking what we refer to as private equity companies. Do anybody know what a private equity company is? A PE firm? So PE firms, you have different types of people who invest in companies. PE firms or private equity firms typically take over a company that's owned, that's closely held, where an owner of that organization may not have the skills or the capital to sort of take it to the next level. The company that I'm working for is called Right Start Capital. And Right Start Capital is an interesting organization. It was founded by 2 very smart guys, Harvard Business School grads, et cetera. They're in the 3rd generation of the fund, which means this fund that they've created for acquiring companies, they've actually renewed it 3 times. And that's a good sign because that suggests that their investors continue to invest and the results that they're providing have been good. In addition to that, they also have what's known as an incubator and a consulting arm. The incubator is used to take new companies, primarily startups, and help fund them and incubate them and bring talent from their internal pool, analysts, et cetera, to help them grow those companies and launch them. And then the consulting arm is to help existing companies, and then there's the PE arm. So I went to work for them to take over one of their portfolio companies. And this is a company that's about 4 years old. It's called Innovative Technologies. The primary focus of the business is durable medical equipment, or what we refer to as DME. And our primary product, which Steve, who's our director of sales, is going to talk to you a little bit about today, is referred to as a TENS unit. Does anybody know what a TENS unit is? Do you? Good. Hopefully it works great for you. Terrific. That's great to hear. We love to hear that, of course. We sell about 75,000 of these a year. We do it through 3 different channels, which I'll tell you a little bit about. We do about $8 million in revenue. So about 1.5 years ago, the fund from Right Start bought this company from this owner. The owner stayed in the business for some period of time, but ultimately sort of had a disconnect. So they were looking for somebody to come in and run this portfolio company, and I was fortunate enough to get the position. So I am now the Chief Executive Officer of Innovative Technologies. And I said to Keena, I said, let's come and talk about Innovative today. So the way we're selling the product, and Steve will talk to you a little bit about the product, and this is where we're looking for some of your feedback and thoughts and ideas, is we have 3 channels that we use right now. Our primary channel for selling our devices, and we have 3 types, but Steve's going to show you ePulse today, is through trade shows. So we go out to about 700 trade shows. We have a sales force out in the field of about 100 people, and we go to different trade shows to sell our product. So we set up a booth, we talk to people about our product, we give them a value at the trade show, because we're there, we're on the ground, we want to move product, et cetera. So we actually discount pretty heavily at the trade shows. In addition to that, we also do some online sales. We have our own website, but we also go through what we refer to as the flash sites, Groupon, Amazon, No More Rack, et cetera, and we do value deals there as well. And then the one area where we haven't explored it particularly well has been the wholesale aspect, which is, for example, chiropractors, physical therapists, et cetera. This product, while it can, and Steve will talk to you more about this, while it can help you manage pain, it can also help you with gain. And what I mean by that is it can help you grow muscles, stimulate muscles, and so forth. So we're looking at that whole wholesale venue for us, and how do we grow that? So, for example, a chiropractor might be able to sell this product in his or her practice as a supplemental therapy to support what he's already doing, but also to help provide some incremental income for them as well. So it's sort of a win-win, hopefully. Anyhow, any questions before I put Steve up there and let him talk to you a bit more about the product? Come on up. This is Steve Foster. And Steve's the wizard.
Hello, hello. How you guys doing today? All right, pretty well. Woke up this morning. I can't ask for too much more. All right.
I'm going to sit down and let you do your thing.
Just pulling out some of the product real fast so that you can get a glimpse of it. All right, basically what we do. I'm the director of sales for the company. I basically coordinate up to 25 teams throughout the United States. I'm mostly in charge of just the trade shows. Trade shows, medical conferences, health and fitness expos. Got a couple questions for you guys. Like, who here likes to travel? Yeah, who here likes to make money? Who here likes to help people? That's exactly what we do. So, like in our sales force, we're in a different city. We have multiple teams scattered throughout the United States every single week. We do medical conferences, health and fitness expos. We do trucker shows, firefighter expos. Basically, the greatest thing about our company and our product, really, is that anybody can own one. I'm sure that everybody here knows somebody with some kind of aches and pains, chronic pain, or maybe you woke up with a kink in your neck, you just can't really work it out. It's exactly what our product does. It's top of the line. We have all three types of neurostimulation in it. So TENS technology for pain relief, EMS, electric muscle stimulator, to help rebuild the strength into a weakened muscle or joint. If you guys have gone through physical therapy, you're probably used to it. And also, a really impressive one is also it's 2 microcurrent settings. It's called CES, cranial electric stimulation, for like headaches, migraines, sinuses, and numerous other ailments as well. So we come out to these shows, we do a quick demonstration. Basically, one of the biggest challenges is that we have is just getting to somebody to sit in the seat. Nobody wants to be the first person in the pool. So you got a crowd going by, our biggest challenge, pull them into the booth. Hey, how are you doing? Where's your aches and pains at? You strike up a small conversation, get them sat down, try it out. They get to try it out. Just within minutes, I mean, it's a very fast pace what you're doing those, because you want to talk to as many people as that you can. So you're basically giving them a flash sale. Tell them what it retails for, tell them all of the benefits of what this will help out with. You want to engage in your customer to know what they actually need for the product. Everybody has a little something different. That's also the great thing about the company, is that we are top of the line. We have the most advanced product out there. We have all the bells and whistles. I didn't bring them all with us, but we have gloves for your hands for arthritis and carpal tunnel. We have shoes and socks for your feet for diabetes, plantar fasciitis, gout, flat-footed, restless leg syndrome. We've got giant braces, for your knees. We have workout belts. I'm sure you guys are familiar with like the old Slender Tone belts. Okay, don't believe the hype. You're not going to sit on the couch, eat a hot fudge sundae, and get a six-pack. Right? But what it will do is you talk to any physical trainer, they're going to tell you no matter what you do, always try to keep your core tight. You know, it gives you a good core strength. You know, it helps out your whole body when you do that, and it helps double your calorie burn. Well, the real way that the belt works is that's what it does. It doesn't give you the option to do it. So if you're being active, if you're going for a walk, a jog, going to the grocery store, it's going to contract and release your muscles over and over. You're doubling your calorie burn that way, and essentially you're giving yourself a good core strength. That's the real way that it works. Don't believe this guy's got huge arms and, all he uses is this workout belt. Right. All right. Basically, that's really what we do. We go out here and we tell people the benefits of how it can help them, and we give them a great discount. These discounts are only good for the show, so most people don't want to lose out on a deal. If they don't want it later on, or if they want to think about it, whatnot, we always give them a card. They can go right to the website. I tend to call it a $400 card because that's what they're typically going to spend online just for the base model.
I'm going to put our website up here too. Probably want to spell it right though.
Yeah. Yeah. Miss, you said that you're familiar with the TENS unit?
I'm sorry. Yes, I bought
Was it
one maybe
running
2 years ago at a home show in Newcastle. So,
Newcastle.
might have been you.
It might have been me.
Whoever it was said they were definitely in marketing and gave me their cell phone number for the future, which I thought was really good.
All right. Well, if it was me, please don't write that on the bathroom stall. I don't need people calling me for a good time.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, basically, it's very small. It's very handheld. You said you got about 2 years ago?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so then you have one of the updated models. They're rechargeable now. Most people that get them through physical therapy, they're used to a big, bulky unit. Runs on like 9-volt batteries or like AAA batteries. And they're pretty prehistoric in that way, the ones that they still market through those. That's why we're trying to branch out into the physical therapy, get them to wholesale our product.
Yeah, I think it got a bad name years ago. My chiropractor tried to sell me one, a big one.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't think so. I took it home and gave it back.
Right.
And then when I found you guys, it's great. I travel with it. I never travel without it. And I don't use it daily, but when I need it, it's wonderful.
Absolutely. Excellent.
Excuse me, could we repeat the question? I didn't get a chance to say, if possible, let's use the mic because it is being recorded, and we don't want to miss a word.
I'm curious as to why you purchased the device. What is it that you were trying to manage?
Okay. I've got bulging discs and bone spasm, arthritis in the neck. The only thing that truly hurts me is computer work, which I do a lot of. So sometimes I'll sit there on the computer with it. You can even use it when you're in your car, on an airplane. It's very, very handy. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, there we go.
Are you ready for additional questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Well, Wayne, I'm very, very interested in how the company is really structured from the standpoint of you're heading this up now from a consulting standpoint, or are you full-time with this company now?
I'm full-time with the company.
Okay.
I've taken the CEO role, and today is day 4 of my job. How's that?
Day 4, well, congratulations. You've done a heck of a job in 4 days.
I'm not even on the benefits form. Well, it's not my first rodeo.
It's not your first rodeo.
No, it's not.
Right. How is the company then structured from the standpoint of personnel and control of what appears to be a fairly large marketing/sales group? And then secondly, I'm really interested in the supply chain that's associated with the products that you represent.
Let me answer both those questions for you. The structure of the company is actually fairly interesting. Our
It's actually
sales
attached to
organization,
the
which is
devices.
roughly about 90 people, the company's a little over 100 people. We have about 10 or 12 in the office locally. We're headquartered in Bishopsville, Maryland.
Yay.
Okay, so we have, we call our field office, that's where my office is, and we also have our warehouse there. So we have our accounting function, which we have 3 people who work around our accounting and finance function. We have 3 people who do our event planning. So these people are responsible for coordinating with Steve and others and getting our field sales force, getting them prepared to go out into the field, assembling vans with our product, getting hotel reservations made, and of course, making the commitments to the particular shows and so forth. And then in addition to that, we have people on the technical side. Mike Cooper leads that effort for us, so he helps us with all of our IT needs, but also he's our liaison with organizations like Groupon and Amazon and so forth. We have 2 people who manage our inventory and our supply chain, Ricky and Guy, so they work out of our warehouse and they receive product, prepare product. And then we have a customer service division, which is 2 people who also double from a sales perspective. So if somebody calls in and wants to buy a product, they can sell. But also, one of the things we do differently than our competition is we actually support it with true customer service. So if Barbara had an issue, she's under warranty, she picks up the phone, she calls our 800 number, Kinga resolves that problem for her. Somebody's having difficulty with the application of the product, she can also be supportive in terms of clinical application and therapy. So that's kind of the structure of the company. I am CEO of the company, and then above me, of course, is Right Start, is the PE firm. So I work for the PE firm, but operate as CEO of Innovative, but I am a full-time employee. I don't know if that explains the structure. The products are manufactured in China. Okay, we deal with 2 manufacturers in Shenzhen. I'm learning, this is a learning process for me. We buy pretty much by container. So the container is, I forget the exact number of units we typically get. I think it's about 20,000 units per container, and that depends if it's a 20, 40, 40 high. There's different structures to that. We receive quarterly from them, pretty much every 4 months, 3 to 4 months, we have a shipment coming in, and that gives us a lot of agility in terms of being able to change and restructure the product. There are some challenges in dealing with China that I'm learning about. For example, how do you get them to be loyal to you as a provider, or as a buyer, and not take that product and rename it and sell it to somebody else. So we want to try to maintain that exclusivity. We're starting to get very focused on our IP relative to trademarking our names and trying to patent our technology. So we protect that and do our best to prevent those sort of things from happening. But definitely a learning experience for me in terms of dealing with China. Hope to go there. I know I will shortly. But one of the other things that's interesting to know about Innovative is that while we're very focused on health and wellness, one of my priorities is to help us develop a platform. So through shows, through wholesale, and also through an online presence, that we have a sales platform that we can bring in pretty much any product and bring it to market for a company. For example, does anybody know who Howard Schultz is? Howard Schultz started a little company called Starbucks, you may have heard of. He's behind a product called Eargo, E-A-R-G-O. So I know those of us who were over 40 at one time, we were buying glasses at the Costco in a 5-pack, right? And then you get over 40 and you got to actually go to a real doctor and get them, right? So we started with the cheaters, and then we got the real ones, which were a lot more expensive, and they really upset you when you lose them. But anyway, so the glasses industry has always been that way. You can get a non-prescription alternative to helping you with your eyes till you get to a certain point, and then you got to go to a prescription. Well, I don't know if anybody here has had any experience with hearing devices, but I recently took my wife through the process to get hearing aids, and I was astounded at the cost of hearing aids. They're about $8,000 to $10,000 for a set. It's ridiculous. It's 2015. I mean, pick up your cell phone, okay? For $600, there's more technology in here that went to the moon. They can figure out how to get that into the ear for a lot less, as far as I'm concerned. So it looks as though Howard Schultz also had that vision, and I started doing some research. So what Eargo has done is they've developed a very inexpensive and effective hearing device. It's worth looking at. And they have a non-prescription or, the cheater style hearing device, kind of getting back to the glasses thing. And they also have a prescription method. So it's $1,500 for the regular device, and you add $500 if you want it to be programmed. So you would go through audiological testing, and then they would program the devices for you. They're very comfortable. They're inexpensive. You'll have to go to the website. I encourage you to see what they're doing. So here's a perfect product, for example, that we could take on their behalf and put through our platform, because we have the relationships, we have the sales organization that's well led, we have the online presence and relationships, and ultimately the wholesale approach as well. So that's part of the vision of Innovative, is that we become the Intel inside. The Innovative brand is associated with being a platform for manufacturers or products to be able to get their products to market quickly and get feedback quickly. You're welcome.
Very good.
Good morning, and thank you for the presentations. Very good. My question goes to, and I'm trying to understand, I understand that you have the product made in China. You ship it here. You're located in Maryland.
Bishopsville, right.
Bishopsville.
Right.
So I have twofold question. One is, how do you manage your inventory? How many units are you selling per month? And how much inventory do you have? And then second fold is, and this is just a personal thing, why are you located in Maryland? Why not in Delaware?
Great. Let me answer that one first. Most of our team lives in Maryland. Of course, we're literally a 9-iron over the Maryland border. So I'd like to see us make the move to Delaware, though. I would. But we have a great facility. Interestingly enough, it was a concrete plant. If you Google us and look at where we're located, it was a previous concrete plant, and they built this plant with the intention of a growing economy. Well, the plant never went into operation because the economy never did. So the company, in our backyard, we literally have a concrete mixing device. But we also have an 18,000 square foot warehouse, and we have an 8,000 square foot office. So the facility is perfect for us. It really works quite well, and of course the economies for us are also very good. So that's really why we're in Maryland. And most of our team is in the Ocean City area, which is where the founder was as well. Okay.
Well, I will say, please see me afterwards. I'm with the Delaware Economic Development Office, and I'd love to help you move here.
Terrific. Thank you. I think I know some of the folks on your team as well. Is it Melanie? Yeah.
She's no longer there.
Oh, is that right? Well, we'll talk afterwards. Let me talk to you about our inventory. So the first question is, how do we manage it? I'm going to start by saying not as well as we should. Okay. As I said, we bring a container in or two about every quarter. So we're bringing in between 20 and 25,000 units per quarter. In the warehouse, we have the product assembled in lines by product type, by accessory type. So it's well organized. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we sell about 75,000 units per year. So depending, for example, if we have an online ad or an online purchase or through our customer service, we use an in-the-cloud system, an IT system, that's a shipping program. So that's entered into the computer, it feeds it out to the warehouse, it produces a label, goes onto a box, and UPS and FedEx come along and take it away from us. If these guys are headed to a show, the events planners, along with Steve, will write down what's required for the show based on our previous experience, some projected goal of sales. And then we have our own vans. We have a dozen or so. Actually, I guess we have about 8 of those. We have also presence in California and Florida as well, which I didn't mention. So we also have teams there and offices in those locations, and they also have vehicles. So they will come in. The warehouse will load that van up with all of the necessary items for the booth, so the tables, chairs, tablecloths, and so forth, so we have a nice professional look, as well as the product. And then that team will head out to that show for 2 or 3 days, and then whatever they bring back, we put back into inventory. So that's sort of the 2 ways we do it. The wholesale piece, we're just starting to get some traction there, but that'll be, we'll ship to Dr. X a box, a case, whatever it might be, on an as-needed or piece-by-piece basis.
We have a question.
I would say it's probably 90% show-driven, 10% online. Right. Yep. Yep.
I have a question about competition. I love my unit, and my husband had back problems recently, and I really didn't want him using it because I just didn't. It's mine. So, so I actually went out and bought the competition, so to speak, for that emergency that he had. It was quite expensive, but they've really been doing a lot of advertising on TV with the vibrational heat pad type thing. So tell me about what you've seen since that has happened and what you're doing about that.
Are we talking specifically about the Smart Relief product that Shaq is selling?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, all right. Steve's probably a better authority to speak to that than we.
Well, I'm thinking advertisingly, what are you doing to teach people that this is very different?
It's a great question. From a marketing perspective, we do a really good job of and I think Steve's particularly good at this, and I'll let him answer this question, but let me sort of give the overarching. So from a marketing perspective, our focus is primarily one-on-one at shows, all right? And then the online presence that we have, as well as through the flash sites. But as far as conventional marketing, we do very little at this point, okay? We have a product we have 3 products. We have ePulse, we have Smart Relief, and we have Magic Massage. The difference in those units is their number of features, modes, and the things that they can do. Smart Relief is also the name that that Shaq's company has taken, which is Icy Hot. They've taken the name Smart Relief. So I've got a little battle ahead there because we've actually been using it longer, and there's trademark laws that will protect us and so forth. The other thing is we have no presence right now on the shelf of CVS or Rite Aid or Walgreens, and that's an area that we want to explore. I actually have some relationships with people who are with other companies, Johnson & Johnson in particular, have relationships with those buyers. But I want to make sure we're really truly prepared to meet that demand, but more importantly that our products and our marketing that's behind it supports it. So to answer your question, we're not doing a very good job of that, okay? One of the things that I recognize at the shows and the way we sell is that we get sort of one opportunity to touch the customer. So they come in, if Steve's fortunate enough to get them to come in and have a demonstration, typically that will result in a sale for us, and also, you know, because the customer likes it and wants it and so forth, and we can give them a value because we're at the show. But one of the things in my own personal vision is how do we get them there? How do we generate leads, right, prior to the show? Because we know who's going. We know who's going to the shows. So how do we give them? How do we make our product and our booth at that show more of a destination for them as they arrive? But also, to Steve's point, when they leave, they may not be prepared to spend $150, $250, $350. I mean, this isn't, you know, pocket change, right? It's real money. And so the person may not be prepared to do that for whatever reason, wants to get her husband's, you know, approval or vice versa. And I know I wouldn't make a $300 purchase without my wife's permission. I'd have to sleep outside for a week. Can we give them an opportunity or a coupon when they leave to come to our website and purchase then? We may not be able to do it exactly at the same discounted price, but at least for some value. So those are 2 areas right now that I'm beginning to focus on. How do we increase the awareness, to your point?
I have this little gizmo in my hand that's been passed around, and it's wonderful, but I don't have a clear picture as to what this does. So I wonder if there's anybody else in the audience that's like me.
Let me let Steve explain that, and let's talk about what the word TENS is. This will be your word for the day, transcutaneous. Does anybody know what transcutaneous means? It means through the skin. So TENS device is a transcutaneous, or through the skin, electronic, okay, which is the E, the N is nerve, and the S is stimulation, okay? So transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. So that's what we do, and Steve will show you how this works.
This is a very simple device to use. They've really made them user-friendly. Great thing about TENS units, you used to need a prescription for these through a chiropractor, physical therapist, or some sort of physician. The FDA has dropped TENS. TENS is not an actual device, it's just the technology. So they've actually dropped that from a Class 1 to a Class 2 medical device. Really fancy term for just saying that you do not need a prescription for it anymore. So that's why we sell them directly to the public now. They're a lot safer to use now. You used to have to put a conductive gel on your skin first, put it down. After you're done, you'd have to wipe everything off. They didn't have timers to the old ones. This is 2015. You know, instead of walking around, like if you guys know about your cell phones 25 years ago, everybody was looking like Ghostbusters, you know, with the big old briefcase going on. It's the same concept. 2015, it's run off of a lithium-ion battery, so it's completely rechargeable. Typically holds your charge for about 30 hours. You have 2 ports, so you can use 4 pads all at the same time. The only places that you do not put it, don't put it over your eyes. It doesn't help your vision. Don't put it over your mouth, your carotid artery, or directly over your heart. Don't put it over broken skin either. You want to put it like, you know, some nice, moist skin. Wherever it hurts, that's right where you place the pads. So it doesn't matter if it's knee pain for arthritis or a herniated disc or just stress and tension in the shoulders, as you were mentioning before with, you know, in front of the computer. It's very common. This is the most common place for people to carry their stress and tension at. So wherever it hurts, it's right where you want to place the pads. And you're going to get a deep vibration. It's going to loosen up your muscles. And the real thing that it does is it uses a high frequency, so it stimulates that blood circulation to the area. One, you're actually treating the pain instead of masking the pain like a pharmaceutical. 2, by stimulating that fresh blood to the area, you're actually speeding up your recovery time about 3-fold. And by stimulating that blood circulation, you're actually also producing and releasing endorphins, your natural painkillers. So it's much more effective than any pharmaceutical painkiller, muscle relaxant, anti-inflammatory, or even a nerve stimulant, because you're not putting any, and it's a lot safer because you're not putting any foreign chemicals into your body. Your body's created as an amazing machine to heal itself, take care of itself. That's why you have all of these. Chemicals built within yourself. This just gives your body that little jump start to do so. If somebody would like to try it out, I would love to just show somebody how it works.
Our challenge is that we always try to end on time. We've only got a couple of minutes, so how about if we offer that opportunity as we conclude?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And before we do, we always like to end with a question that says, what can we as a community do to support you and your organization?
Great question on day 4 for me. You know, I'm very fond of this group and this organization. And as I said to Steve coming here today, my hope is, you know, a few people stand up here without gaining something from the day. I think Keena mentioned that also. So we're very open to any suggestions, thoughts, and ideas. Secondly, we want to expose you folks to what we're doing in Innovative. I'm going to be growing the company. My personal goal is to try to double our sales in the next 2 years. We're going to grow our team. So if you know folks who are interested and want to be a part of a growing organization, and whether it's from a sales perspective or a technical perspective, et cetera, we hope to hear from people who have an interest in being a part of what we're doing, who are close to live in the area. You know, finding great people is what makes great companies. And we've had great success in being able to find people like Steve and others. Steve's been with the company since its fruition, which is over 4 years. So I would suggest, to answer your question, Keena, we're looking for great folks who want to be a part of our team. We're looking for great ideas. We're looking for opportunities and channels to sell our product. And we're looking for great testimonials from people like Barbara who are using the product and really enjoying the benefits of it and improving the quality of their lives. That's really what it's all about.